What is happening, Budge Builders, and welcome back to the 40 Plymouth Deluxe Rescue. This car had been sitting for at least 65 years. In our first video, we dragged this thing from its resting place. Took a bit of convincing, but we were able to get this thing running again for the first time. Keep going, keep going! Woo! And then in our last episode, we completely cleaned this thing up. We buffed it out, addressed a few details like the wheels, tires, and running boards, and got this thing looking completely different. But there's something we're missing, and that's driving. Let's take the time, pull everything apart, rebuild all of the brakes, take care of our cooling system, rip out this disgusting interior, and get this thing going back down the road again for the first time in at least 65 years. You can actually breathe in here now. We're in the interior because we're actually working on cleaning it out, which you're gonna see in our next video when we redo it. But I'm a little too excited to not show you this in this one. I'm gonna try and get this glove box open so we can see what we find in here. It's still intact. Dude, 1961 time capsule. There's a box to one of those spark plugs, which we know are in here, those auto lights. What is that? Should I even touch this? Protamine zinc insulin. Agrico. How cool is that? This is so neat. I don't know if you guys are into this stuff like I am. This is a trailer registration. Did it say a year? 1946 trailer registration. Expiration date on that insulin, May 27th, 1955. What is this? Extra bulbs. 1958. 100 gallons of gasoline for free. Here's a receipt from 1947 for kale. Oh, this is probably from selling kale. We know this came off of a farm. Free 100 gallons. So this is probably from getting it serviced. Man, somebody wanted gas. Could you imagine 100 gallons of gas free? 1,000 gallons. Oh, maybe it's all been 1,000 gallons. Oh, I can't count. Automotive brush set. Do you imagine buying that at the auto parts store now and doing your brushes? Couple more. So the newest thing in there is 1958. That is definitely going on the shelf, which definitely correlates with our 1960, 1961 part time. If you guys get a kick out of going through stuff like this, let us know. It's like a treasure trove, and there's a 48 Ford Deluxe over there that we're going to be getting on here pretty soon. That's also been sitting since 1961, and it is packed full of really cool old stuff we can't wait to go through. Let's get this thing jacked up, all of the wheels off, and pull apart all of the brakes. And that is because with this car, just because the brakes are so incredibly expensive, we're gonna rebuild everything. In our last video, we tore some of them down, verified that they were in good enough shape to put rebuild kits in, which is just what we're gonna do. So we're gonna pull all the wheel cylinders and the master cylinder, get it on the bench, and get those rebuilt. Grease has just turned into oil. I mean, there's nothing left in there. You see it dripping. That's why it doesn't hurt to grease everything up while we're doing these brakes. No lip or anything. rowdy old spring. Fronts are pretty easy. Rears might get a little tricky. So this is a, I believe a wedge style. So we're gonna have to get a big puller on here and hopefully this thing comes off of here. There it went. Crazy. I'm glad we ran that nut back on just a little bit there because that could have gotten violent. Not too shabby. Nice. Yep. It's a master cylinder we're going to attempt to rebuild. It's crazy. That hose is just powder. Yeah, there's no way there ever would have been anything go through that. Now, sometimes the best way to go about removing these hoses is to actually hold your line and then use an impact to back it off. Like that. And then we can see it's freeing up. That also allows us to clean it from both sides, which this one is actually in really nice shape. Completely clogged. Let's see if we can make something happen with this booger here. Doesn't look horrible on the inside. Actually, it's really nice. Let's see if we can get it apart. No problem. Oh! Look at that, seals just turned to goo. Realistically though, not in horrible shape. See if we can get it cleaned up. Get all the hard stuff off of your piston. Then we'll clean it up with Scotch-Brite. Kind of smooth it out, and it's really nice. No major pits or anything, which is the main thing. And now for the fun. Holy moly. Sheesh. We'll get the gnarly stuff out with some sandpaper. And I just want to make sure I'm working it around this way and not back and forth this way, so we don't allow any deep grooves that fluid could ride past. Now that most of that's out of there, get in there with a little brake hone, lubricate it, and kind of like honing out a cylinder wall. We're going to keep these pretty tight movements so we don't wear down in one specific spot. You might notice I'm only going so far, and that is because this is two different size bores, if you can't tell. So that makes it a little interesting getting a clean, getting an even pressure all the way through. It's actually cleaning up really nice for brakes of this age. Very little pitting. There's some, but nothing we have to be concerned about leaking really. Well, let's just verify these sit well in the bore, smooth, all the way through. Beautiful, not too much play, a good easy movement. And then we'll lubricate with brake fluid. Now we drop the spring in. Our other piston. And then Dad will take this screwdriver, hold it down, fold this up, roll it on. And there we have a rebuilt wheel cylinder. These wheel cylinders actually come in together really nicely, and really pretty nice looking bores. Obviously just a little bit of scarring from rust there, but no major pitting that's gonna give us issues. That's one thing we don't like to cheap out on, even here at Budget Builds, is safety. So if we weren't super confident in these, we would have unfortunately just tossed them out. But I think these will do really well. But the next thing with those done, we need to address is try to get this master cylinder apart. Wheel cylinders are one thing because you can press them out. I'm not sure we can do that on here. But let's start pulling it apart and seeing if we can get it cleaned and honed out as well. Coming apart with no broken bolts is our first win. Good brake fluid. Hey, that wasn't too bad. Yum. Yummy. What are we doing? Gonna come a time that none of this stuff is accessible. We're gonna have to learn how to do it, I guess. Yep, this thing makes the wheel cylinders look brand new. I don't know if you can see that. Not only really pitted, but it's almost like it had a sleeve put in it at some point in time, and it's just peeled off and missing chunks of sleeve. I mean, even if we could get it to work, it would never hold pressure. And on a single pot brake like this, I mean, that's terrifying. I am super confident in the wheel cylinders. They cleaned up really nice. They're gonna hold no problem, but you're just asking for with that. And we're gonna have to order a master cylinder. We're gonna have to get one on the way, because we're just not gonna put our safety on the line over something like that. With all of our hoses and fittings off, it is the perfect time to get some brake cleaner and compressed air and blow through all of our hard lines. Oh! Oh, that's why I wore those. Oh yeah. Good. Oh, that's gross. Like diesel oil. Oh no. What? Huh? It splooged my shoe. Make sure we grease our ride points, which aren't much on these. They don't ride against the backing plate like modern brakes do. They just ride on these dowels and in here. Now we don't have to worry about links on this because they're actually the same size pad, so that's pretty straightforward. Not gonna lie, those are some of the smoothest going together brakes I've ever worked with. That's actually really nice. These people are gonna be like, these dummies have a shop and they're out here with this snow. You may have noticed when we took this apart, we were actually missing our bushing and clip here. We were able to run to our local auto parts store, pick up some bushings, washers, and clips. Now I've run our adjusters in, and what I'm gonna do is kick them out until we just barely have pressure on this. And what we're gonna want is for it to scuff without dragging. Oh yeah, just like so. I'm gonna get some RTV and drop it in where the key goes. And that is so gear doping doesn't leak past it. And then we torque it to 145 foot-pounds. Perfect. Before we can clean up the front drums, we need to pop this bearing out. Not only do we need to clean, re-grease that, but we don't want to get all of this mess in that bearing. So you drop a socket down that fits tight here, sits on the bearing, and we just knock it out. Like so. And it'll also bring out your inner seal. Now to get these things packed full of fresh grease. Still taking some getting used to not packing these things by hand, but man, what a neat little tool. Fronts are, of course, nearly identical to rears. If we torqued them down to 145 foot-pounds, this thing probably wouldn't move. So we'll run it down till it's snug, kick it back off, make sure it's tight, and spins nice and free. Last piece to the puzzle, a new master cylinder. Looks identical, just a lot better shape than this thing. We're gonna start at our furthest away corner first. That's gonna get most of that air out initially, and then we'll do each corner till we get nice, good, even flow of fluid with no air. All right, Dad, will you pump it up and hold it for me, please? All right. And again, please. All right. Let me try it front. because I'm not getting anything in. So we're having a little bit of difficulty getting this thing to start bleeding, so I'm using the Mighty Vac here to put a little vacuum on it and hopefully get it to pull some fluid, and I think once it does, we'll be good to go. There he goes. All right, now pump it up, please, sir. Oh yeah, that's all we needed. I like it. You hold it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And again, please.
All right.
I like that. Oh, that's nice. I like it. Hit the brake. Oh, sweet. Hit that brake. Haha, nice. Got a brake pedal now?
I do.
Nice. We got brakes. Going back together now. To be honest, I already opened this one up. Zach sent us out this right here, which is awesome. If you remember in our last video when we got the wheels cleaned up, we only had 3 of them because one was a 15. So here's another 16 that we can get cleaned up and put a tire on and have a full matching set on there. So thank you so much, Zach, for that. But he also sent us a little goodie bag, which we have not gotten a chance to go through yet, and I'm excited to. Really cool. Thank you so much, man, for this. Stuff like that is just tough to find. And what do we have here? Haha! A siren. Awesome. Check it out. 5 3/4 guide with the yellow lens and the bracket. Dude, that's awesome. And another one. Whoa. Look at that paint. That is beautiful. I love it. And another bracket. Oh, that's cool. Check that out, old cast. We'll have to test fit these on that car, and even if we don't use it on that, we have a ton of other cars that those can go on. Dude, thank you so much. I really, really do appreciate you thinking of us and sending that stuff out. It is a super nice getting a full set of original wheels on this thing. Frozen. Now to address the engine stuff like the cooling system, we're gonna take it inside to do that because it's a little cold. We'll first pull this water pump because we got a replacement anyways. This thing is super crusty and is just literally packed full of rust. And then with that out of the way, we can remove this radiator. It is slap full of nuts and we don't need it to be slap full of nuts. So we'll get that out of the way, get it cleaned out and see if for 100% it is completely sealed. And then we'll get everything back together. Okay, we gotta get the fan off. There it goes. That's the benefit of having an impact, especially water pump bolts. This thing like jiggles and does fancy jiggly stuff, and a lot of really crusty bolts that would normally break get jiggled out with this thing.
Because of the jiggle.
You know what I mean? I ain't no scientist. I don't know what it is. Nice. Good grief, it's heavy.
Yeah, we're gonna have to work on that.
Let's rinse down first.
Yep.
Down. Rinse.
You might want to get the water working first.
Oh, no!
It came out the top before it came out the bottom. It's interesting.
Oh, sheesh. Some of the holes of the water pump being drilled straight through into the block, we want to make sure we use some type 2 non-hardening sealant on those, and that just makes sure coolant doesn't push past those threads. It'll be nice getting away from this old frozen crusty water pump and going to this new updated one that has a sealed non-greasable bearing. Unfortunately, that thermostat housing did not make it. I'm just thankful it came off the head without issues. So we had to get a replacement of that, and we can get that into place. Now we're not going to quite yet put a thermostat in it, and that's because we want to allow this system to heat up and flush through. Change the coolant a couple times, make sure we flush it through, get it super clean, and then we'll put a thermostat in it. So much better. That's cool. There's no telling when the last time this thing had coolant in it was. Oh, it should be the, it's
No, it's broke.
Ah, poop.
Okay.
Okay, so it's got an open drain plug.
Yeah.
That's the worst of it. No complaints from me. We've got our new belt to go in place, and this one is the right cross-section width. And I did want to apologize, the lighting is probably not the greatest in here. That's why we're normally outside, but it's been down in the teens. We've had an ice storm and then snow right after. We just don't do that stuff here in the South all the time. So we're making do in the shop. And so pleasantly surprised that even after a night of sitting, there is no leaks out of this thing. No coolant leaks, no brake fluid leaks. I think we're getting pretty close to being ready to go. I would love for this thing to be running off of its own fuel, specifically its own fuel pump. It is super gross and no doubt needs a rebuild. We're gonna attempt to rebuild it. Let's get it pulled off of here, get it cleaned up, and try to put a kit in it. I think our best bet with this thing is just drop it right in the ultrasonic and let that do some work to try to clean it up a little bit so we can attempt to get it apart. Woo! That made for some real good soup. Hey! That took quite a few rounds, but we're getting somewhere. I think good enough to pull it apart. One thing that I don't like seeing is this was super floppy, and that's because the spring fell out, and the spring fell out because it was broken. And you can see that was broke and actually rode on it for a long time. So that's not good. We'll have to figure that out. Oh, we'll figure it out with the kit because it comes with a brand new spring. That works out nicely. You've got your sediment bowl on the bottom. It's been on there for a really long time, and it has some sediment in it for sure. Get our barbs off of both sides. I think it should just have a bolt there. Oh my goodness. That's a mess. See our little check valves here. The only thing that gets fun now is this pin right here. I was like, hey, what's the little flathead screwdriver there? Well, that's actually where this thing has been pressed over and mushed out. And so that is permanent unless you remove it. And then you put the new dowel in place of it once you get it apart. But we've got to either cut this off or I'm thinking try to drill it out. I hate to tear up the housing here. I like that. I mean, we got just a little tiny spot I hit, but otherwise no damage at all. And it pops right apart. I don't know that that would have pumped anything. Oh, and for anyone wondering, this is a $55 rebuild kit. This is a $200 fuel pump. So that's why we decided to rebuild it. I believe this seal right here, yeah, should just pop right out of there. Well, look at there. We've actually got a visible fuel pump. It cleaned up pretty well. Good bit of corrosion in here, and this is actually open, but I don't think that's gonna affect us. And we can swedge it a little bit. So the spring, main diaphragm. It's definitely not going anywhere. I'm gonna put a little JB weld on top of it. That can always be drilled or scraped off if you ever had to rebuild this again. While that's curing, let's get this back together. Well, looks a little better than it did. We're really close. This car is all mechanical and all cables, and I think we've got most everything free at this point, except for one major cable that's gonna keep us from being able to drive it. It's an unusual shifter. It's a 3-speed on the column, which is not unusual. Up and down just works off of rods like most any other shifter, but forward and backwards allows you to go back and forth from reverse and first and third and fourth is a cable, and it is frozen. So we've got to try to get that free before anything can happen with that transmission. See if I can pry it up and get some PB in there. We'll just soak everything. Push it down. All right, pull it back a little bit. Yep, and then, oh, it's starting. Yeah. Now just try to shift it like normal. Has that got all of them?
First, second, third.
Some of where it was frozen was just in this shaft here. But what's really neat is all these cables and everything. I just love how everything with just a little bit of time and a little bit of effort frees up and is starting to work. You don't just go replacing stuff on a car like this. They built this stuff to last, and last it has. Let's see if this thing will fire up on its own fuel, its own cooling system, its own wheels and tires, own brakes, and see if it'll drive. Shifter free, we've got a battery dropped in there, and we took the opportunity for now to just stick a 12-volt battery in there. We were able to spread the lugs enough to be able to clamp them down. We got it stuck in there at least for this initial drive, and it's always good to work the engine back in and everything on 12-volt. It's just so much easier to start initially. Let's see if it turns over.
It's got to here, now it's still got to get up to the carburetor.
Popping strong still. I just want to make sure it'll pop off real quick, and then we definitely got to get this thing outside because I have a feeling we hadn't run along and it's probably still going to burn off some mess. First gear. Whoop. Got clutch. We are moving for the first time in 6 decades. Got brakes. Running really good. Open the AC up. Running cool as a cucumber. Now we can actually start to burn a lot of years of crud off. Woo! Got fresh white snow and nothing on it. Now the exhaust, on the other hand, let's try to get this thing down the road, right? We got brakes, we got a clutch, we got a shifter, we got wheels and tires and cooling system, and it seems to be running pretty darn good. Yes! The spark plug wires are arcing out. It drives really nice. Something's a little loose. Does it have reverse? I'm in a reverse needing. Oh yeah, it does. It turns really, really tight. Oh, we're dead. I could get used to this. What do you think, Dad?
I love it.
I better watch the road. It's actually, oh, it's actually really tight feeling, isn't it? Like it's got some rattly. Oh, that's the trunk. Might have to boil out that radiator. Well, it is. It's boiling out the radiator a little bit. I was thinking about this just a little bit, and the fact that this thing doesn't run extremely good under a load, and it got warm fairly quick. Now, we ran through the radiator. It may need some coring, some flushing to get it flowing better, but it got pretty warm pretty quick. And I was thinking about when we first got this thing going, and the fact that this exhaust is crunched up in several spots from underneath. I mean, it's about this small in a couple areas. A car will run rough and run hot with way too much back pressure, and I'm wondering if that's what we have going on here. So I'd really like to take the time, cut the exhaust out from the rear, and then drop our front portion, get it repaired, and get a good muffler on this thing. Not only is it gonna keep from killing us from carbon monoxide, but it's gonna sound better, and I think it'll make this thing run a bit better too.
Okay. Okay.
Bloop. Bloop. Oh my. Holy moly. Yeah, that. Get off here. I mean, it had some flow, but not a lot. We swung by our local exhaust shop, and they actually had a cut off piece of pipe laying around. They threw a couple bins in there to match. That makes that super easy, because when you piece this stuff together at the auto parts store, you end up with a lot of money into exhaust. It was nice they just had this piece laying around. And then they had a new cut-off muffler, and this is just a nice, stock, quiet Jaguar muffler. We'll see how that sounds on there, but it'll get us exhausting a little better than we were. Okay, let off. Let me put some in. That's why I was checking. Yep. We can bend it. We can throw it after we weld it up. We can bend it here because it looks good.
Okay.
There we have at least our front portion of exhaust. Make sure everything runs good and sounds good, and then later on we'll add that rear section of the exhaust. So you can see it drops down, and then we put a little pie cut, kicked it up, then I put one more pie cut and got the muffler sitting just right. Let's knock out these wires. Oh, that's neat. Original braided, they just look a little better than that.
Still have to cut these.
Might be able to just pull it through.
Oh, look at it. Oh my. I don't know why it would have been arcing out. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
Well, that looks a lot better, but does it run better? Way better. It's still smoky. I like it. That engine is so smooth and so quiet now. Carburetor's leaking everywhere. It blew a cloud out of the side of the carburetor. When it was popping and backfiring a little bit there, it's because it's got a lot of vacuum leak, and that's because this whole side of the carburetor is leaking. And it literally just blew a poop out the side of it. I think it's just got too much warpage in it. Here, idling up. I Not as much as I would have expected. Let's check that vacuum advance real quick. Can you pull that and let it die? It's running cool as can be. No vacuum advance. That's a big vacuum leak right there. I bet our timing's off, and that's a big vacuum leak. I'll cap that for now. We'll have to tear into the distributor and get that vacuum advance addressed. But I think with that without that vacuum leak, maybe it'll run a little better. Probably should have thought of that with how everything rubber looked on this, but it's hard to think of every little thing while you're digging in there. That's where some trial and error comes in. We're making it though. Better. Take this thing for a spin. It's a little more not entirely smoky and loud in here, or a little less. It's running really, really good. I can one hand. This thing drives. What do you think, Dad? Ooh, it's a little smoky, but ready for third? 3 gears. It's running really good, isn't it? It's really smooth. That trunk isn't latched. There's a couple things rattling around, but does it downshift? Is there a second gear sinker on this car? There is. One thing that I love about these old cars is these super tight windshields. So big, huge roof, little windshield you're looking at. Great, isn't it?
I like it.
You gotta try it.
I'm good.
Nope. Hot seat, hot seat. Here, just slide across. But don't leave me. No smoke anymore. This is awesome. Just because of the age and how long it sat in condition, I feel like this is one of the most fun rescues we've had to this point, just because of the learning curve on this thing is awesome. What a step back in time. Oil pressure's awesome. We're still 40 warm. It's smooth, isn't it?
Figured it'd travel more.
I don't know what I expected, but it's a really, really nice driver. Like, I could drive this to town or anywhere. This is nice. Do you like it?
I like it. It's pretty neat.
I'm your chauffeur now.
Driving Miss Daisy.
How much fun was that? 1940 Plymouth Deluxe that was parked 65 years ago, and we just took it on its first drive. Now, it's been quite a bit of work to get to this point, but man, was it worth it. And I'm not gonna lie to you, when we initially started rescuing this car, it wasn't like my favorite because we've done so many 4-doors, but it's perfect this way. I wouldn't even want it to. It's like the perfect silhouette, the perfect proportions, suicide, and it is awesome, and it was awesome to drive. I really hope you all did enjoy getting to see that, coming with us to this point, getting this thing going again, getting it cleaned up and getting it running back down the road, because it deserves it. We can't wait to continue going farther with this thing, cleaning up that interior, finishing the exhaust, taking care of those few last mechanical bits to really get this thing dialed in and ready for some fun cruising. If you have enjoyed, you want to see more on this rescue, our other rescues and rebuilds, be sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell to keep up with our future uploads. If you have been a part of the channel, we do appreciate it so incredibly much. We get to bring this stuff back to life, this deserving stuff back to life, because of each and every one of you. So thank you, peace out, and catch you all on the flip side.